right. I'm.
Appreciate it.
Hi.
Maureen, I have a copy of the current agenda in front of me. Did you send it out? Did I miss it?
I don't have a copy of the agenda either.
Okay, hold on, I'll do it right now. You told me that 10 minutes ago.
I couldn't hear you.
Okay, hold on, let's do this.
Are you sending us the agenda now?
I'm gonna send it right now.
But you can just follow along.
Yep.
One moment.
Don't forget to send a margarita along with the agenda.
You're inviting us over for margaritas?
No, that was
What
your
you
job. Your job.
My job is to drink one when it's made for me.
Did you send the agenda?
Hold on.
Oh, okay. Just inquiring.
Hold on, I'm doing it. Yeah. Okay. There it goes, winging it today. You get it?
Not yet. I have to put a stick.
Well, the first thing is to review the minutes anyway of May 12th.
I reviewed the minutes. I approved.
Hang on, it just showed up.
Got it. I vote to accept the minutes from May 12th.
Okay.
So, George, you had said that you were actually at that meeting, which was May 12th.
Yes, I was.
And sure. I thought somewhere there was a message that said you would not be able to attend, but. I can fix it. Okay, so that's what this is for. We need to make an addition based solely on George's word that he was there. And it was May 12th, keep in mind, not May 5th.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Well, you can, that's good. Gary can vouch for me.
I think I remember hearing him.
Okay, I'm gonna change it. Everybody accepts George's word of honor, correct?
Except.
Okay. It changes.
Anybody seen or heard from Tom lately?
Oh. Okay, and the other change that has to be put into the minutes is that the beaver dams are 15 inches, not 15 feet.
Very good.
Okay, what else? Any other changes?
George asked if anyone's heard from Tom. I forgot, Maureen, if you or I were going to reach out to him. I forgot to.
Because you're the boss.
Yeah, okay, I will, but I didn't. So, no, I have not heard from Tom.
Me either.
Okay. We'll reach out to him.
Rebecca. Okay. So, all right, no other changes. Okay. And George swears that he was there. Okay. Okay, first thing, go ahead. Anthony, you can start in here. I have a report on sustainable CT.
Yeah, you're up.
All right. As far as that sustainable CT, we were not able to actually get certified during that process this time. So Holly had been in contact, and that was the word we got. Let's see here.
So what actually happened?
Yeah, what were this?
Her email here. I'm not sure. All right, here's her message. We did not get certified in this round. We needed 200 points, but only got 190. Also, there were 3 categories in which we got no points. One was the cultural ecosystem. The second one was housing. Third one was equity. And so far, we have not measured up with the outreach part of our walk audit, and we need to write a better narrative, which is okay. We can do that. The next round is at the end of August.
So you have to get something in all of those categories, equity, housing, and whatever the other one was? You have to ecosystems?
Number of points in a certain number of categories to pass their certification process. And since this was our first time doing it, I'm not really worried about, you know, we did enough. I mean, we did, but just not enough to pass the cert. So we're only 10 points off from passing that certification. The next round is at the end of August, so we've got time to do it. And we've got time to polish up our walk because some of it was done but not written into a narrative to submit to them. So it's okay. I mean, we're going to keep working at it. No problem here. Okay. So we just continue to work at it, and we will our certification in August. By golly.
Yeah, it gives us good focus and direction.
The school bus thing accounted for some points, and they gave me like a list of, I don't know, maybe 6 areas where it potentially could go under. I wrote them down because there's a lot of numbers. If you didn't notice, it's hard to decipher where things go in that sustainable Connecticut. So it was nice that they sort of pinpointed it. So I know that you'll be able to get some points with that. I don't know if they'll be in the right category. So
that's it. We didn't really even coordinate with you, Rebecca, for that submission. So if we do that next time.
I don't know if I was eligible at that time, but now I've completed it. And just by going through the process, that in itself is. And then if we step along the way with the school buses, then those will add up for in other areas also.
we'll be able to do that during the summer, and we'll get together with Holly. She's good at writing this stuff up, and narrative, just like with yours, as well as the walkability audits that we were doing. We have information, but not a proper narrative to submit to the application. So we need to pull you in on that too, so that we can cover all the bases. We've got a couple of months to do it, and I think my head might be back on in its place. So I'll try to pay attention. It's
Good
not
luck.
been my whole life, so I think I can get back to it.
Okay.
Oh, anyway, we'll get together. Holly lives right in town, and
So Holly's with Sustainable Connecticut? Is Holly with Sustainable Connecticut?
I don't know what you're saying, but
Well,
she and I have been
she's volunteering into the.
Conservation Commission for several months now, and we were scurrying to submit it to the town, and
Okay.
obviously we didn't. Oh, it's okay. It was. I figure it's a tryout.
Okay.
Okay, so it actually hasn't been part of Conservation Commission until maybe early this year, and it was my instigation that said we should make this a part of conservation work, because all of the items that this can be part of sustainable CT.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that you moved it forward. I think that we should put a full submission in for August and start working on it now.
Holly and Maureen have been very instrumental in pushing this through. They got everyone in shape on this, so
Awesome.
they've done a really excellent job and getting us to where we are now.
So that'll definitely start up in June.
Okay.
May has been a bad month for my life, so that's why I'm
Sorry.
saying thank God it's over, and June is a whole new month. Hallelujah.
Sorry to hear.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. Okay, let's move on. So anyway, we're going to get ready for the August application and do it. We'll handle it, no problem.
So I
Okay,
have a
so-
list of those points. Should I just email them to you for those points then that the school bus credits go for? How should I do that?
Yeah, let's talk with Kristen about it.
I'll do an email to you and to Holly, and you send her whatever you have, because she can write the narrative.
Okay.
We could sit down together. We might have to bring a tape measure and measure 6 feet apart, but that's okay. We
Okay.
can sit down.
I'll just lie down between you.
George, you there still?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, good.
I'm 6 feet even, so I'll just lay down between the two of them.
Okay, tell
Perfect.
them about the video you had sent out.
Oh yeah. So I got a few submissions from that. I'm gonna put it tomorrow in front of the Board of Education for the resolution. I think it's gonna pass, but I'm not. I think I might just be very optimistic also. But I have a pretty good backing, and I've already been talking with the facilities, and it went through the Sustainable Advisory Committee, excuse me, last week. And so the Board of Education it's tomorrow, the meeting. So I have a presentation that they supposedly were supposed to review, and then they're just asking me questions about did you get the actual resolution? Did you look at that? That's what I'm hoping that they sign off on, which is them committing to 100% clean energy for the Region 18 schools by 2030.
So it's all part of your email. Yeah. Did you write that or did they?
I did. I've been pushing it kind of the whole, it went along with the Sustainable Advisory Committee. And I'm glad to have their backing because I think it's better with more people on my side. And the woman who, the board member, is really, I think she has like a Pfizer-y kind of background. So she's kind of a really good liaison for me and my passion, and then like making it board language. So I really think that there's a good possibility that they approve it. We're trying to get it in because there's not supposed to be a July meeting, and in July they're supposed to start working on their 5-year strategic plan. So we want the 10 years to 100% clean energy to be part of their 5-year strategic plan.
All right. Well, it's all progress, you know. I mean, the whole idea of change in this town, so you just have to, you know, go with it. Do as much as you can, and lobby as much as you can.
Right.
So, okay, I'm gonna Holly a message, and we'll kind of get together, right? And then we can incorporate this in a better way. And she's doing the writing.
Yeah. If you send me that email, I'll give you whatever you need, and I'm happy to work on whatever else.
Got it going right here. Okay, so where are we? What's next? We can go on. POCD, Anthony. The tennis ball bounces.
You know, I think George James know more about that than me. I mean, I don't know where I stand, where we stand on it, but I mean, it doesn't seem like we have a whole lot of motivation for it. Our involvement is kind of, you know, contingent on the rest of the town and the forgot whatever committee is overseeing that. There's no interest in the town to update it, so I don't see where our contribution comes in.
Well, we should
Framework.
be part of it. And George James has written the one in the last report is 10 years old.
Right, I read it.
So it's due to be updated, but the proper committee to do that says they need to do a survey. So they're not doing the survey.
Right.
Or they're giving, but I think it's insane to not do it. I thought it was a requirement.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
According to what George James said last meeting, it's a state requirement. We can't avoid it.
Well, then I think what we should do is send a message. Here's you, Anthony. I think you should Mary Jo Nossel, who is one of the selectmen, and say, how do we do this? How we're trying to support the required report and getting nowhere. So if she says let's drop it, then we'll drop it. But I think it's a big opportunity in town if we have to drop it. I think that's. I think that doesn't say much for managing the town if we have to drop the 10-year plan of, what is it, conservation and development.
I'm in favor of it for sure. It looks like our contribution in the past has been really minimal, so I didn't feel that was our, wheelhouse to push. But at minimum, make aware to all parties responsible that there's a 10-year requirement, an update, requirement every 10 years. So whether or not it's being overlooked selectively or just because there's other things pressing doesn't really matter. It needs to be, it's required to be updated as far as what I've read by December of this year. So come November is not a good time to start thinking about it. So I'll I'll reach out to Mary Jo and see, you know, see what kind of counsel she can provide on that.
Email address, right? Have her email address, Mary Jo.
I have it.
There are two things with Mary Jo. She was supposed to be on the agenda for the town, the first selectman. And the idea is that each commission should have oversight from town hall. And we've asked for her to be our partner in doing this. Whether she actually got voted in, I don't know, because when I inquired, the minutes had not been posted. So there was no way to determine. But if you ask her that question, Anthony, say we're waiting to hear to make it official. And then secondly, we need some advice on this plan of conservation and development. We can't do it alone. We're part of it. We're not the head of it.
Right.
And then if they're going to drop it, either we decide, do we want to push for this thing? Because we've got some conservation issues, things that we've discussed at every meeting. Or do we want to respectfully denounce town hall for not doing it? Because it's not us that's holding back the process.
Right.
Questions you could ask Mary Jo at email, and then while you're not taking notes, make yourself a note to contact Tom Scherer.
Tom, where have you been?
Yeah, that's a big question. One thing we need is help. His input, and he's also very good at writing.
Maybe we have his email wrong.
Well, call him up. Don't let him off the hook. This has been on the agenda for months now, and we're stalled on doing it. Let's get a resolution. We're going to make a statement, or we're just going to fade into the woodwork.
No, the hammer's coming down. I'll talk to Mary Jo. We'll get movement on this.
And Tom will give you an idea. Fading into the woodwork is a chicken. Oh, sorry, I won't put that in a minute.
This is recorded.
Yeah, these meetings are recorded. And Maureen Plumley said, she called it.
Actually,
Okay, so you
back.
messages to send out. Okay. What else?
Okay. Well, while we're on Tom Scherer, we've been talking about the climate survey. We bring that up monthly. I haven't heard any updates on that. Is that a thing still with the church? Climate survey Tom was involved in?
I don't know.
Okay. This comes up every month and we don't know, so we'll just keep pushing this off until we get his name is attached to it. Right, Maureen?
What are you looking for? I can reach out to Mark over there and what information are you looking for?
I don't specifically know. This keeps coming up. I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know. Is there a status update? Is there a climate commission or a group? What's this? There's been a survey posed in this, but this could be months old, right? Maureen, you keep filling this in.
I think they do have like an environmental group over there that when I was talking about the Ready for 100, they sort of came over and talked to me. I don't know exactly what they were doing as far as the climate survey though, and what that means and how that would affect the Conservation Commission.
That could just maybe relate to sustainable CT. But
I would imagine that somebody, isn't somebody on here also on that commission over at the church?
Tom.
Besides Tom. Who's Charlotte Lyman?
oh, that's Holly.
She sent me an email. I thought she had to do with the church. Guess not.
Sustainable.
Oh, okay. Okay. So just kind of what you're reaching out for, Mark, is if there's anything going on in the church or with the FCOL, is if there's anything that's happening that could be added to the Sustainable Connecticut. That's what you're really looking for?
Yeah, oh yeah, well, we've got to put this together, so it'll be in a written narrative.
But
Is
from
that
the
your
climate
question?
survey, that's what you're looking for, to see if they're doing anything that would relate to Sustainable Connecticut?
Oh, Holly?
The climate survey, the climate survey from FCOL. What are you looking for? Why do you need that?
Because it's mandated that every 10 years the town should prepare and publish a plan of conservation and development. Keyword being conservation in our case.
No, not
And
that. I'm all for that. I mean the climate survey from the church.
Okay, I went and looked up while you guys were talking. The church climate survey was given out to the congregation on the 31st of March. The copies were then collected. Said that the results would be shared with the congregation at a future adult forum. The person in charge for the working group is Donald Gonci, Gonci. I don't know if it's any help or not, but that's what I found.
There's not a copy of the survey, is there?
George, I gave you my copy.
Like, what are they asking? Do you believe in climate? Like what is the target audience here? What does this data do?
The target audience was the church congregation. Okay, I don't have a copy of. I didn't. I'll look a little further while you guys are talking. But
Is it just to get an understanding of people's understanding, or?
that's a good question. I don't have the answer for that either. Give me a couple seconds. I'll check it out.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, the big question mark is, what is this, and what do we do with the information? Tom's name has been attached to this, probably on meeting minutes going back to January. I don't recall what the conversation was about then, and we haven't heard from Tom since. So.
Well, the survey was with members of the Congregational Church. I don't know how they sent it out. I know that I never got any questions or invitation to a survey. So I kind of remember that Tom had said that it wasn't really going to impact a lot because the target group was too small. So, I mean, it would be good to have his input, but we can't wait for it because I don't think it's going to impact the whole topic of the publication of the plan of conservation.
The data is
It's not.
Data
climate survey plays into the plan of conservation development. That's no.
Not necessarily, no.
That data is somewhere in the church, and Bob McCracken is the business manager for the church. So if anybody would know the status of it, the data, the form, the questions asked, Bob McCracken would know.
Do you want me to send him an email?
George, have at it. Call him up. He'll give us what we need if he has it. Otherwise, we need to go through Tom. It was a small committee. And we just have to figure out who else is on the committee.
Okay.
But that's not going to affect. It's not going to affect whether or not we play a role in this writing this plan. George James is all for it. He's got, as he says, raw data that he wants to put together. And he is a big proponent of doing this. And I think if we're not in it, we're missing a big opportunity. So
George is a proponent that we in the Conservation Commission write or spearhead the plan of conservation design.
not spearhead it, contribute to it and get it done. So like we're pushing, we're the mule that's behind the cart instead of in front of it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But it's an opportunity for us to make a statement. George has a lot of text on things like areas of development and septic and you know, there's big parcels of land that's for sale. It could easily be developed in a way that environmentally would be not good. Runoff into Rogers Lake, for example, was a big issue, and that parcel was taken off the table because they couldn't provide information on, I forget what it was, whether septic or drainage or something like that. But that's our chance to make a statement. I don't think we should just let it go away.
No, I don't either. I'm just wondering if we do our homework, are we like encouraging everyone else to do theirs? Because there's a lot of other commissions and groups that have, you know, more significant role in the POCD than we have at least 10 years ago. Reading it, we had a very, you know, limited contribution. I thought seemed like it was pretty heavy in other areas of the town. That maybe right now, I don't think it's a bad idea. Obviously, I'm way behind this, but I'm just wondering what's our, you know, piece of the pie relative, so we know how much, like, you know, we can contribute or we can reach out and help other groups contribute for their, you know, portion.
I thought it was the planning commission's responsibility.
Planning.
Yeah,
Okay, then Anthony, don't raise your hand above your shoulder or you'll wind up doing it.
No, that's my question, because right now it doesn't seem like it's our responsibility, and nobody's taking lead on this, but it's required by law.
So why don't we reach out to the planning and see what their thoughts are and how we can collaborate?
George James
like,
has been, as members, I don't think we have enough clout to do anything about it. George James alone, me, you, any of us do not have any authority to push through this. I think it has to come, you know, spearhead it and go to Mary Jo and say, what should we do about it? Because we don't know.
okay.
We don't have any.
We'll talk to Mary Jo, and then you know, I'll reach out to Mary Jo, and I'll have more to discuss about this next month.
Okay, Anthony,
Yeah.
I have Bob McCracken's email, because he and I are good friends. So what I will do, I will email him tonight and copy you on it and ask him what he can tell us about the climate survey that was done in March.
Okay.
At least that would be a starting point to find out who did what to whom.
Okay. Yep.
Great.
Yeah, we'll start to unravel this. How about?
There's a lot of that going on.
All right, let's move along here. We got Old Lyme Conservation's obligation to maintain the river landings. Any input on that?
I haven't heard from Gary in over 2 weeks since he left. So like I said, I have not seen him. I thought I saw his car in the back because he was behind me, but I will check with him tomorrow, or I'll email him also and let you know. How's that?
That works.
Hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Hear you, George.
Hi.
It's,
George, we're talking about you.
Oh,
it's the ghost in the woods.
right. I am watching you.
George, go ahead, Anthony. You ask him. What does he know about OCD?
George?
What do I know about what?
George James, are you there? Come in, George.
Like a dysfunctional Brady Bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Feel bad for whoever's watching the recording.
Anthony, good night, George. Hello,
But
bye.
what I've heard so far is sounds very positive, and let's do it. So,
All right. Then we'll chat with Mary Jo. We'll get organized on this, and at minimum, we'll help maybe encourage the rest of the town to get moving on this, because that's kind of stuff that we stand behind. Maybe. Take that back. This is recording.
now,
So
Rebecca,
What's up?
Rebecca.
Yep, I hear you, George. What's
Okay,
up?
well, my question is basically, I saw something in the newspaper or on TV about your activity with the um, solar stuff.
Oh yeah, cool.
And I guess, is that what you're here for, the meeting? Is to promote that or just to report on it?
I was just reporting on it. I want to know where you read about it or heard about it. But I just the electric school bus thing is completed, and some of the that program can go towards Sustainable Connecticut. And tomorrow, then I'm presenting to the Board of Education to vote on a resolution for 100% clean energy by 2030.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's been a lot. I put a lot of work into it. I really think we have a good chance to have it approved tomorrow, but we have to wait until tomorrow. I'm a little bit nervous.
be calm. Be calm.
I have a pretty thorough presentation, and I'm going to review it with the chair of the board tomorrow morning again, just to get my nerves out, I guess.
Well, it's a moneymaker for them, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're really nervous about the date. They don't want to commit to the date, is really, I think that they like the idea. The superintendent especially likes to be on the forefront and kind of be cutting edge and a leader in the state. I think it brings out really positive attention for Lime. But it also kind of sets a standard for the rest of the towns and the state that we can do this. The 2030, it's achievable, and that's really cool leadership. I have a bunch of high schoolers on the video that I hope make an impact on them.
Sounds great. Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it will be really cool. I'm really hoping for it to pass.
Terrific. Good work.
Thank you.
That's all from me at the moment.
You're on the agenda for beavers.
Well, we have very little to report. There's very little to report. And I am quite aware that that this is a very sensitive subject, and probably we should um, just stay out of the discussion at the moment, at least. So that's my.
Gotta let chat.
What's that?
You, George.
That's me.
Have your television? Have your TV on?
Yeah, the less said right now, the better, I think. they have they're having a big opening on the 6th there, and of the McCulloch property, and it is a pretty dramatic moment for the open space gang, and there's nothing we should say or do to diminish that big moment for them.
You don't want to
We
bruise
go there?
Well, I might. I
Maybe
don't know. It's the 6th, and I'm not sure just how it's going to be run. That is how the opening is going to go, as far as keeping your 6 feet away from each other. But I think it's easy to do in the matter of the trails, marching on the trails. So I think it's going to be a very dramatic moment for them, and I hope I think we should give them a big pat on the back for having accomplished it.
What time, do you know? George, what time?
I don't. It'll be it'll be a big announcement, though. You'll all get some announcement on it.
This Saturday. It's this Saturday, the 6th.
6, yep.
Yeah, this Saturday.
Yes. And it's there is on Meeting House Lane is the place to meet. They hope to have the parking situation under control, but you can't miss where it's all new construction on Meeting House Lane. That's where they'll start, I think. So it's a big deal, and they've done a good job for the most part.
Yeah, piece of property.
Yeah, it's quite a job, and they've done a great job. Thanks in part to what's his name now? Well, anyway, they've had a lot of help. Very useful help. So it's quite an achievement. That's me. I've finished. That's all I have to say on that.
Next.
Well, that's about it.
Okay, so for my part, I'm going to email Bob McCracken, the business manager of the church, and find out what the status is of their climate survey. And I'll get the information back to Anthony. And on the results of OLCC's obligation to maintain the river landing, I will email Gary when they get finished here and find out what he knows and make sure he lets you know.
All good.
Good.
Good nickel, Anthony.
All right. Well, if anybody has any closing arguments, now's the time. Otherwise, we can adjourn.
Yeah, Marine didn't give us our margaritas.
Okay, I'll be right there. I could use a margarita. I'll bring the chips.
Now you're talking.
Okay, sports fans. That it?
That's it. We'll meet back here next month.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll
Maureen,
still
you're
meet
gonna,
in July, correct?
Maureen,
in
you'll send
July.
me the solar, the sustainable Connecticut stuff.
Yes, I'll send you and Holly a message. We'll
Okay, awesome.
go better.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening, everybody. Nice to see you or hear you.
You as well.
Hopefully next month we can meet in person.
Margaret,
Cool.
Oh.
Adios.
too.
Adios.
Adios.
Vaya con Dios, muchachos.
So,
Still recording.
what are we?